People are talking about a recent dancer that JHope danced with on stage that has caused some controversy. We have V allegedly have said that he likes boys, and then we have people talking on behalf of JK about a solo career. So Dumplings, is Dave Disci. Let's get into it. People are debating whether JK should be doing a solo career right now and should be leaving BTS. And this debate has gone on for quite some time, but has reached a peak now that JK is out of the military. But a lot of people are now demanding that he be reconsidered to have a solo career. Basically, all this means is that he needs to be removed from the group and then allowed to have a solo career. However, I don't think that this is likely going to happen, nor should it be something that we as a community even want to happen at this time. People are bringing up moments in which JK had previously talked about eventually wanting a solo career and wanting to do a 3-hour set by himself and just overall craving that solo tour. Of course, this would be awesome, right? But obviously it's not likely in the cards right now, because what would even he do for 3 hours? He doesn't really even have 3 hours worth of material right now. So JK mentioning this obviously was talking about the future when there is time to do a solo career and they decide to do that. I don't think he is talking about this at this time. Also, JK has mentioned numerous times that BTS is his priority right now and he cares more about the group than himself. However, a lot of people use him talking about his solo career and him wanting to do that as what he wants to do right now, that BTS is the one suppressing him right now, or perhaps even the label is the one that is suppressing him. But you have to understand that things don't work out that way, and if you do truly believe that the BTS members should be allowed to go solo and that JK particularly would be enjoying going solo, then why has he not acted upon that? There are so many K-pop groups where the members of those groups want to go solo, and it's not even that they don't want to stay in the group anymore, they physically can't, meaning the work that they're producing for the group is not going to be as good because their heart's not in it anymore. And you've seen situations in which that member would leave the group and pursue their own career. But what does that mean for JK? And if he were to do this, well, it obviously means that him and the rest of the BTS members may remain not close anymore, may not be close anymore, as the BTS could, and I say could as the key word here, be so offended by this action that they decided they no longer want to be associated with the member that leaves, JK, for example. However, I think people assume that this is a choice that the solo member gets to make. So if they decide that they leave the group, they are taking this choice on of not being associated with the rest of the members anymore. However, when your heart tells you to do something, it's not so much that you have a choice, but you just so have to do what your heart tells you. You can't ignore that. And if you were to ignore it, you can only ignore it for so long. But the bottom line is he doesn't really have a desire to do this right now, and he is putting the group first. So what does this honestly tell you? But it tells you that he cares more about the group and that he really doesn't want to be pushing his own stuff right now. And we should respect that as well. He has no physical obligation. Even the contractual obligation to be in the group right now is something that he could potentially break if he wanted to, because contracts, especially career ones, can still be broken. There just has to be a lawsuit or that sort of stuff involved, but he could still get out of it and he likely would have the money to be able to do it. But he's not doing that. Speaks volumes, right? So don't just go assuming things. However, the community often likes to assume things and will continue to assume things. One thing that happened recently was V was seen at JHope's last concert. All the members came together and they began dancing and supporting the last concert. Now, this clip that was circulating was when JHope was performing Mona Lisa, and you saw all of the members dancing and having fun, and people believe that during the part where JHope says, "I like my girls" in Mona Lisa, V lip synced that part, but instead of girls, he said boys. This definitely caused a lot of controversy, as a lot of people were wondering if he meant boys, because that was a very active decision to say boys. However, the part where he mouths what looks like mouths and moves to boy, you see it close, right? Because when you say your B, your lips touch. You can also see that there is a glitch in the video. The video almost blurs out at that second, so you can't really see what happens, and it looks like his mouth closed. Am I saying that 100% is the truth? I don't know. Or am I saying that I know for sure that he didn't say boys or that he said girls or whatever? I don't know either, but this is just my theory. So I definitely thought that this was a little bit funny, and of course a lot of people thought that this was really cute. And I also want to emphasize that us seeing all of the members at JHope's last concert is definitely not a mistake. I said so in a few videos prior, that the boys are going to start to appear in places. They're going to start to appear together at events. They're going to start to be where the press is. There just so happen to be a lot of press there at JHope's last concert, which usually there isn't that much press at a concert. But the label made sure to call them for this concert. The label also had their own camera crew. They know exactly where the other BTS members were going to be, so they could get shots of that, and suddenly all of this coverage is coming out. So all of this is part of them teasing them coming back. So we see it as an organic thing because, of course, it makes sense that all the boys would go and support JHope's concert. And of course, I'm sure they wanted to do that anyway. But funny enough, that they're not hidden. Normally Normally when they go to concerts, they're wearing their beanie all the way, covering their eyes, and they're wearing a face mask to cover everything up. The boys aren't hidden in this concert though. We can see them very clearly. So just from a PR standpoint, that's what I'm seeing. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like a PR stunt. But at the same time, a PR stunt can be genuine, right? For anyone that is new here, I'm not implying that the boys don't care about JHope or that they're going to the concert specifically for their own gain. Because two things can be true at once. You can have a PR opportunity, but also care about the person that you're with. So I think that that's exactly what's happening here. This is just my opinion though, allegedly. And of course, this is all just really exciting because it means that we're going to start to see more stuff come out. And we're going to start to see the boys more and more. And then bam, they're going to hit us with the album. So it's already started. But of course, speaking about the JHope concert, JHope did the song Killin It Girl, which is one of the newer songs that he just released. And he had a girl dance alongside him. The girl comes up to him and starts touching him as well as grinding up against him and even winking, turning back at him. And a lot of people were freaking out about this. Some people were jealous of the girl to be able to do something like this. And other people were saying that this whole situation is worse than if the two actually just kissed, because we are seeing a butt next to a crotch, whatever. There was even some people that were saying that they were just going to ignore that performance because it was a little too raunchy for them and they're just going to pretend that it didn't exist. I don't fully know if it's a joke or not, but I can actually totally see the community getting upset about something like this. However, it's perfectly normal for them to do songs like this. But also given how sexy, slow, and R&B, and that being the vibe of the album, what did you expect? Like, were you not expecting moments like this? So this is very interesting to me. And of course, it's interesting to see the general reaction of something like this. Now, JHope's orientation has been in controversy for quite some time. And it's weird to say controversy because someone's orientation is a very private thing and it's really their own business and it's not something that's hurting anyone, right? However, a lot of people think that he is part of the LGBT community given how he is a little bit more feminine acting than what people would presume a straight person to be. However, a lot of this also just comes from the stereotype of what gay is, and then they seemingly match up with a lot of how Asian men act. A lot of that is just more so just stereotypes than it is anything that's actually true, I think. And I do believe that it's a little bit racist, but I don't necessarily believe everyone who assumes that this is trying to be racist, right? So I totally get it, but at the same time, it's just an assumption based on stereotypes, which can be racist. And of course, I'm not calling anyone specifically racist because I gotta be honest, I was maybe on that boat for a little while too. However, now that we are seeing him grinding up with women, we are seeing him making songs about women, so we likely can assume that he is probably not part of the LGBT community. Although this isn't an accurate representation, it's not 100% confirmed because we have people like Ricky Martin who is gay, has a husband, is fully out, and still writes music about girls, right? Many people believe that the dancer has essentially exposed JHope's orientation as not queer and as someone who is part of the straight community. But it's still none of our business and we should definitely respect whatever JHope wants to do. At this moment in time, he has made music about mostly girls and that sort of stuff, so our assumption at this point in time should just be that he is straight because he hasn't said anything else otherwise. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.